Imagine opening your bank app to see a deposit of $5,181 from the United States Treasury every single month for the rest of your life. This isn't a lottery win or a lucky stock pick. It is the absolute ceiling of the American social contract, finally realized in the year 2026. For decades, you've seen the FICA tax disappear from your paycheck, a silent contribution to a future that always felt a lifetime away. Now, that future has arrived, and for a specific group of retirees, the payoff is larger than most ever thought possible under the current system. The question isn't just how much the check is, it's whether you have done the specific, calculated work required to claim it. For most Americans, Social Security is a safety net designed to keep them afloat during their golden years. But for a select few, it is a high-stakes game of strategy, timing, and relentless high-income consistency that leads to the largest possible payout allowed by federal law. In 2026, that payout has reached a historic milestone, crossing the $5,000 monthly threshold for the very first time. It is a figure that sparks aspirational curiosity for every worker, yet the path to achieving it is narrow, demanding, and mathematically precise. To hit this number, you couldn't just be successful in the final years of your career. You had to be a top-tier earner during the dawn of the internet and the peak of the housing boom alike. To truly grasp the magnitude of this shift, we have to look at the cost of living adjustment, or COLA, for 2026. At 2.8%, it represents a substantial boost in purchasing power for those at the top end of the scale. This adjustment is the engine that drives these record-breaking numbers, ensuring that those who maxed out their contributions for 35 years aren't left behind by the rising costs of a changing economy. It's a reminder that Social Security isn't just a fixed benefit, but a living, breathing financial asset. The first pillar of the $5,181 max check is the taxable maximum, and for 2026, that number has hit a staggering $184,500. This is the contribution and benefit base, the line in the sand where the Social Security Administration stops taxing your wages. Crucially, this is also where they stop counting your earnings toward your future benefit. To even qualify for the top tier, you must have hit this cap, or its equivalent inflation-adjusted amount, for at least 35 years of your working life. If you earned $180,000 in 2026, you missed the mark by $4,500. That slight gap will ripple through your benefit calculation for the rest of your life. For many viewers in their 60s, this means the mid-1990s and early 2000s were the make-or-break years for your current check. In 1996, the taxable max was only $62,700, but in today's dollars, that represented a high-level professional salary. If you were a manager back then but had a few years where you transitioned between jobs, you might have inadvertently lowered your 2026 ceiling. It highlights the importance of consistency over a 35-year marathon. The second pillar is the 35-year rule, which is where most high earners lose their chance at the $5,181 maximum. The SSA takes your highest 35 years of indexed earnings, averages them, and then divides by 420. If you only worked for 30 years at a high salary, the SSA doesn't just average those 30. They insert 5 zeros into your calculation. These zeros are like lead weights on a glider, dragging down your average monthly earnings. However, there is a silver lining for those still in the workforce in 2026, the replacement rule. Because the SSA only looks at 35 years, if you have 40 years of work history, your lowest 5 years are simply thrown away. This means that every year you work at the current $184,500 cap can replace a year from your early 20s when you were making minimum wage. By staying in the game just 1 or 2 years longer, you can effectively scrub your record. The third and final pillar is the waiting game, and it is the most difficult psychological hurdle for retirees in 2026. Your full retirement age is now 67 for anyone born in 1960 or later, but the $5,181 max is only available at 70. Between age 67 and 70, you earn delayed retirement credits at a rate of 8% per year. By waiting those final 36 months, you are giving yourself a 24% permanent raise that is guaranteed by the U.S. government. If you decide to pull the trigger early at age 62 in 2026, your maximum possible check drops to just $2,969. That is a staggering $2,212 gap every single month for the rest of your life. Over a 20-year retirement, that decision to claim early costs you over $500,000 in gross benefits. In 2026, the price for that privilege has never been higher, making the wait to 70 a mathematical necessity. To truly understand the why behind the $5,181, we have to look at the 2026 bend points. These are the mechanical gears that turn your earnings into a benefit. The first bend point is $1,286, where you get 90% back. The second is $7,749, where you get 32%. But for the maxers, anything above that second point only returns 15 cents on the dollar. In 2026, hitting that 15% bracket requires an average indexed monthly earnings of over $7,749. Because the taxable max is $184,500, your maximum monthly average is capped at $15,375. This means nearly half of a maxer's average income is being processed at that measly 15% rate. It's a stark reminder that Social Security is a progressive system designed to provide a floor, not a penthouse. There is a hidden predator in the 2026 landscape that can devour a portion of that check: IRMAA. If your modified adjusted gross income from 2024 was over $109,000 as an individual, you will be hit with these Medicare surcharges. For maxers with RMDs or pensions, IRMAA can easily add $400 or $500 to your monthly Medicare costs. This effectively taxes your Social Security check at the source before you even see the money. For example, if your 2024 income exceeded $500,000, your total monthly Part B premium in 2026 will be nearly $690. When you subtract that, your $5,181 check is already down to $4,491. If you are still working in 2026 and under full retirement age, you must be wary of the earnings test. The 2026 limit is $24,480. For every $2 you earn above that, the SSA withholds $1 of your benefits. For a high earner still making $150,000, the government will effectively withhold your entire check until you reach full retirement age. However, once you hit that birthday month, the limit vanishes entirely. You could earn $1 million a month starting in your FRA month, and the SSA won't withhold a single penny. This makes 2026 a pivot year for senior professionals looking to double-dip income and benefits. For married couples, delaying until 70 is effectively buying a 100% survivor annuity for your partner. In 2026, when the primary earner passes away, the survivor's benefit is instantly bumped up to that $5,181 amount. There is also the spousal benefit to consider, which allows a spouse to claim 50% of your benefit at their FRA. This can bring total household income to over $7,200 per month, completely indexed for inflation. Finally, let's address the solvency myth. While the trust fund faces challenges in the 2030s, ongoing payroll taxes would still cover roughly 77% of all promised benefits even if the fund hit zero. As a 2026 retiree, you are in the safest demographic in the history of the program. The real risk is panicking and locking in a lower benefit based on fear of the future. The $5,181 check is a symbol of a career well spent and a system that rewards longevity. It provides the freedom to travel, to support grandchildren, or to live without the shadow of financial anxiety. Every dollar you earn by waiting is a dollar you don't have to worry about in your 80s or 90s. In 2026, the era of the $5,000 check has arrived. You've earned every penny of it.